Okay, we're ready to start our tech talk today on Teamcenter Requirements Management Part 1. Your questions will be answered live at the end, but go ahead and enter them into the chat as they come up if you would prefer. Our presenter today is Sandeep, who is located in our Cincinnati office. And here's a little bit about Sandeep. He's an application engineer with extensive experience in Teamcenter, building creative solutions and providing superior technical support for our customers. Sandeep, the tech talk is now yours.
Good morning everyone. I'm Sandeep Kumar Bollapalli. Welcome to today's Tech Talk on Teamcenter Requirements Management. Let's start with a quick look at today's agenda. We will begin with an introduction to Teamcenter Requirements Management, where we will understand what it is and why it matters. Then we will explore how it supports product lifecycle. We will follow that with a closer look at the core features and functionalities. You will see how requirements are captured, created, tracked, and connected. After that, I'll summarize the key takeaways and what we are going to do in the next session, and we will close with a brief QA session. Teamcenter Requirements Management provides a central system to capture, organize, track, and link product requirements from the initial customer request all the way to final design. This means that whether the requirement is coming from the customer, a regulatory body, or internal business needs, it's all stored and managed in one place, ensuring alignment across teams. The value here is consistency. When everyone is referencing the same set of requirements, you reduce rework, eliminate confusion, and ensure that nothing critical is missed. It allows for traceability throughout development. Every requirement is clearly defined, tracked, and fulfilled, which is essential not just for hitting product targets but also for meeting industry standards and customer expectations. Ultimately, this results in better collaboration and higher quality products that truly reflect what the customer wanted. Teamcenter provides you with a good user interface with interactive dashboarding for requirements management and also easy ways to create requirements inside Teamcenter and also displays all the structures precisely. Requirement management plays a pivotal role across the entire product lifecycle. It starts with requirements development. Analysts gather and define what the product must do. This is usually done using familiar tools like Microsoft Word or Excel, which makes it easy for all the stakeholders to contribute. Once we have that baseline, we move to requirements allocation. Here, requirements are assigned to different teams or product components. What makes Teamcenter powerful is that these requirements are directly linked to design objects. So changes in requirements can be traced all the way to the physical product or software component. Next is the association with product design. Requirements are not just written down, they are actively tied to each stage of development. This means as the design evolves, requirements are constantly validated and quality is maintained. One of the most powerful aspects is traceability. Every requirement is linked to testing, validation, and even documentation. If anything changes, like a spec update, it's clear what's affected and who needs to act. Another key point is customer involvement. Teamcenter allows customers to have visibility into their requirements throughout the process. This leads to more trust, fewer surprises, and smoother sign-offs. Finally, Teamcenter integrates with system engineering process. This simplifies how teams access and manage requirements, make the whole process more efficient and less prone to error. To summarize, Teamcenter requirements management helps you stay aligned, reduce risk, and deliver products that meet expectations with full visibility from concept to delivery. It's not just about tracking text, it's about linking requirements to real outcomes, improving collaboration, and ensuring compliance at every step. Let's now walk through how requirement structures work in Teamcenter Active Workspace. In Teamcenter, we can create a full requirement structure, which means organizing everything from top level specifications down to individual requirements and supporting paragraphs, all in a single centralized environment. At the top level, we have what's called a requirement specification. Think of it like a Word document. It's a container that holds all the content. Within this, we can add individual requirements specifications which are the actual functional and technical needs we want to manage. Requirements can be structured in a hierarchy, just like Word uses heading 1, heading 2, and so on. So you can create parent, child, and sibling relationships between requirements to show how they are grouped or related. Along with requirements, we also have paragraphs. These are useful when you want to include background information, context, or introduction text. They don't have compliance value but help clarify things for stakeholders. So in Teamcenter, creating these components is flexible. You can start by going to a folder like your home folder or another location designated by your admin and simply use the create specification option. So once you have open the create specification panel, you just need to select the type as requirement specification, enter the necessary properties, and the system will create and open it for you in the documentation tab. So from there, you can start building the structure by adding requirements and paragraphs. You can do this using a plain text editor or even directly through Microsoft Word, depending on how your environment is configured. Now let's take a look at creating requirements in Teamcenter. Let's log into Teamcenter. I'm logging with Prolim user. This is how a Teamcenter interface looks like. So here we are going to create a specification manually, and later we'll discuss how to import a specification from Word or Excel or some other documents. From the home page, you will be seeing all the square boxes which are called tiles, and you see the option called create specification and import specification. Let's go for create specification at this time, and it gives you a small tab to enter all the required and optional fields to create the specification. Make sure you are selecting requirement specification under specification type, and the properties ID is automatically filled, revision, and pass the name as demo requirement. And you will see a HTML specification template to select. I will describe more about this template going further. For now, say add, and this will create a requirement specification and opens it in the documentation tab. So at this point, I should be able to make changes, add more requirements, paragraphs, and adjust the requirements too. So at this stage, I have an ability to create a child sibling to the requirement. Let's go for a child and let's go for a sibling and pass the requirement headings. Let's add some more children to the assembly. Upon clicking save, Teamcenter automatically assigns IDs to all the requirements. It also creates a structure and displays the structure in the left panel. Just like the BOM structure, you can expand all the assemblies and sub-assemblies. Requirements also follows the revision rules. You can assign any revision rule and fetch the required specifications according to the revision rule. So at this point, if you right click on any requirement, it gives you an options to cut, copy, check out, and you can submit a requirement to your workflow. You can revise and save as on the go. And there is a concept of trace links, which we are going to discuss down the road. And you can move up and down the component inside a assembly, and also you can promote a requirement up a tree and also demote the requirement down the tree. So let's add some required specifications here, requirements on the component level, and so on. So at each time, creating a requirement from the scratch is a bit lengthy process, and Teamcenter introduced a concept of a templates, requirement templates basically. It allows a user to create a specification template and use the template for each requirement creation. Now let's see how to create a requirement specification based on existing template. So this template is a predefined template. Probably an administrator at the site could create this template and make it available for all the users. So you can create a template that already has several details in place, saving time and effort in the process. So Teamcenter gives you a flexibility to build well-structured, professional-looking specifications with a predefined HTML format. This is especially useful when your organization wants consistency in layout, branding, and structure. To begin, create specification, and this opens the create specification panel. Here, just need to fill in a name and an optional description. Next, from the list of templates provided by your organization, select the appropriate HTML specification template. Once selected, click Add. The specification opens in a documentation tab where you can enter your door specific content and add objects. So let's enter all the specifications here. So now that I entered all the required details, let's hit the save edits. So this is how you create requirements, either by typing the whole requirements or by using a template. If you have a Word document with all predefined requirements, you can simply import the Word document to create the specifications. You don't need to create them manually. So far, it's all about creating requirements manually. You can also import requirement specifications from documents into Teamcenter. This is very helpful when you already have requirement documents formatted using Words or Excel and some other documents, heading styles or specific keywords. Teamcenter has an ability to import the specification. The system will scan the document based on the matches it finds. It will pull those paragraphs into active workspace as individual requirements. If the paragraph doesn't match any rule, it gets imported as the default requirement type, which you can set during the import. And you can check and uncheck the other things where you can add the imported file as an attachment, retain paragraph numbers, import only requirement types, and mention the specification type as requirement specification. Default one is a requirement, and you can also add some rules where you set import as a requirement and set the criteria, condition with word contain exact match, partial match, does not contain, and so many. So for now I'm going with a simple import without adding any rules, but upon adding any word here you should be able to add the rule to the import. So let's go ahead and check the preview. So in preview I'll see all the information that has been fetched. On the left I'll see all the structure, and the system scanned the document very well. It looks good for me, and also again you can specify the things, add the rules, and import the structure. Now the structure has been imported. Every requirement has been assigned with a ID. So not only Word, you can also import using Excel, PDF, and some other supported formats. There are many ways of importing the documents where you can set rules matching an exact word or a partial sentence. So once the requirements are created in Teamcenter, you can always edit them, and Teamcenter gives you many features to include and edit. So what we have seen so far is that Teamcenter makes it really easy to manage requirements in one place. You can either create them from scratch or just import from Word, Excel, or PDF. Whatever you already have, it also lets you organize everything clearly, like parent and child requirements. so things stay structured. Using templates saves time, keep things consistent, and overall it just helps teams work faster and stay on the same page. Let's talk about various features which gives you more easy ways to edit and make your requirements more meaningful. It gives you many options like add images to your requirements, adds PowerPoint and other documents and shows their icon in requirements. You can also add mathematical equations too. You can set fonts, find and replace and set the font color. It gives you an option called word round trip, which allows you to export the requirements and re-import the changes. Also, you can reuse the requirements to create a new based on the existing one. One important part of requirement management is being able to attach relevant external documents like supplier or manufacturer data sheets directly to your requirement objects in Teamcenter. This ensures that supporting documentation such as technical specifications, compliance certificates, or product manuals, which is easily accessible and traceable during the entire product lifecycle. Switch to the details tab, which gives you all relevant tabs for requirement object, where you will find the attachment section to upload the files. Coming back to Teamcenter, you can always edit the requirements and you'll be provided with some more commands. It will give you a list of all keyboard shortcuts. You can use all these shortcuts for the easier work. We will discuss about this quality compliance down the road, and you have an option to hide or show the markups. You can enable the track changes, and you can also export the PDFs too. It is highlighting the text that I entered because I enabled track changes. So you have a freedom to set the fonts, styles, underline, strike through, and insert a link. And you can do paragraph sorting, find and replace, and a superscript and subscript. And you can set the font color too. And you can always undo, redo the changes, and you can add images to the requirements. And also you can add some other documents which is attached and displayed with the relevant icon. You can also add a mathematical equation too. Whenever you make some changes, just save the edits, and it also gives you an option called word round trip, where you can export the current requirements into a Word. It can export either read or edit mode, and you can make your own changes and import it back using the import changes. That will update the requirements automatically. And you can also reuse the document. You can just punch in the name, which creates a copy of this current requirement. Switching to the detail section, it will give you an overview of your requirements, basically the metadata of your requirement. It shows all the properties, ID, name, and the type, and the position where it is sitting inside the structure, and shows where it has been consumed. And if you go to attachment sections, here you should be able to attach relevant external documents like supplier or manufacturer data sheets, and say add. So in this way, it ensures supporting documentation which is easily accessible and traceable during the entire product lifecycle. In Teamcenter, securing access to requirements is critical, especially when you're dealing with sensitive data or regulated data. Teamcenter supports multiple layers of access control to ensure that only the right people can view or modify specific requirements. You can set rule-based access control, which allows you to define fine-grained rules based on attributes like role, object type. Group-based access control, where access is granted based on the user's group membership. This is useful for department level visibility, like separating engineering and quality teams. Status-based control ties access to the status of the requirement. For example, a requirement in draft might be editable only by authors, while one marked released is read-only for most users. Project-based access control ensures that users working on a particular project can only access the requirements relevant to the project. Together, these controls help maintain confidentiality, compliance, and proper collaboration. In Teamcenter's requirements management, there is a built-in feature that allows you to access the quality of a requirement using predefined quality rules. This is especially useful to ensure that requirements are well written, consistent, and complete. The system supports this through a partnership with the reuse company, which provides a set of quality patterns or rules you can apply to your requirements. You can open the requirement specification and select Access Quality Compliance. After selecting the pattern, you will see options like correctness, pattern examples, matching pattern structure, and pattern state, all of which help you understand how well the requirements aligns with best practices. You can make changes directly to the requirement and the quality report updates in real time. Once you are satisfied, you can generate a complete report showing the correctness and compliance status across your entire specification, all with just a single command. So this feature helps catch quality issues early, guiding users to write clear and compliant requirements, making the review process much more efficient. After you access the quality of the requirement, you can use a single command to generate a downloadable report. Let's take a quick look at how access control works in Teamcenter. Right now, I'm logging in a user from Prolim who is part of an engineering group. When I go for advanced search and search for a requirement, I'm going to select requirements. Since we created requirements on Prolim, I'm going to filter it based on Prolim. And you will see that this user has full access. They can view, open, and even edit the requirement content as needed. Now I will log out and switch to another user who belongs to the viewer group. When this user logs in and perform an advanced search for the requirement, you will notice that the requirements are no longer visible. This is because their access is restricted based on the group they belong to. To show you a contrast again, I will now log in with a different user. I'm logging in as Pat, who is in a group with the right permissions, and just like the requirements appears. So access is being cleanly controlled behind the scenes. From a business standpoint, this ensures that sensitive or in progress information is only visible to the right stakeholders, preventing accidental edits, information leaks, or confusion among teams. And it's not just group based access. Teamcenter allows us to define control based on roles, project, membership, status, and more, giving us granular control over who sees what and when. This keeps data secure, organized, and relevant to the users who need it, a major benefit for compliance, collaboration, and efficient product development. Going back to Teamcenter, open the requirement specification we created so far. After opening the requirement specification and upon checking the requirements are supplied enough and ready for quality check, select Access Quality Compliance. So this will take some time to generate a report. It will give you an options like correctness, pattern examples, matching pattern structure, and pattern state. So you can understand how requirements aligns with best practices. You can also make changes directly to the requirement, and the quality report also updates in real time. Let's give a few seconds to generate the report. The bottom of the Teamcenter displays the correctness. The report provides a summary of the requirement specification along with a quality analysis. It evaluates every single requirement based on key quality attributes like precision, concision, non-ambiguity, singularity, abstractions, qualification, and accuracy. It also checks for the use of active voice to keep the requirements clear and also direct. So these checks help ensure that requirements are well structured, understandable, and suitable for implementation and testing, ultimately improving product quality and reducing rework. And also you can download the report. So this is the report that we just downloaded from Teamcenter. The downloaded report gives deeper insights into the correctness of each requirement. It generates a workbook for every individual requirement, showing detailed feedback. For example, it highlights the spelling mistakes. It flags words or phrases that should be avoided, and also checks if numerical values are followed by proper units. So this level of detail helps improve clarity, quality, and consistency across entire specification. In Teamcenter, there is a workspace called Requirements Management Workspace. This is a dedicated workspace specifically created for managing the requirements. It filters out unrelated content and shows only what's relevant to managing requirements. You will see tiles for quick actions like creating, opening, importing requirement specifications, making it easier to get started. The toolbar also updates to show only requirement specific tools. So instead of general actions, you get options like importing specs, creating trace links, or generating a trace link matrix to analyze dependencies between requirements. Another useful part of this workspace is that it shows real-time indicators like workflow progress, test coverage, and any comments linked to the specific requirement set. This helps project managers and engineers stay on top of both the structure and quality of requirements, ensuring everything is traceable, validated, and aligned with product goals. Now let me walk you through how Requirements Manager Workspace works in Teamcenter. When you click on your profile icon, you will notice an option to change the workspace. Select the requirement management, and this opens up a more interactive GUI tailored specifically for working with requirements. Right away, you land on a screen that includes an inbox. This is useful because many requirement specifications go through workflows, and your inbox helps you stay updated on tasks or overviews assigned to you. You'll also see tiles for quick actions like creating specifications, importing specifications, and if you have saved any predefined searches, they will appear under saved searches, so you can instantly filter and find the items you use most often. On the left side, there is a filter panel. Under the type filter, you can choose to show only requirement specification, individual requirements, paragraphs, or just view everything together. And the best part, the results refresh immediately, so it's fast and very responsive. Switching back to requirement specifications, you can also type in the filter section. Just enter the name of the requirement, and the list will instantly shrink to match. Very handy when working with large set of data. Now, depending on which requirement you select on the left, its contents is being displayed on the right. Along with the requirement structure, you will see interactive charts like status pie chart, comments pie chart, and the test coverage chart. These charts are fully interactive, so if you click any portion, for example a slice of a pie chart, it applies a filter automatically and shows only requirement in that status. It's a smart way to drill down into exactly what you need. And lastly, you can switch between full screen or compact view depending on your working preference. This is especially useful if you are working on a smaller monitor or multitasking across windows. You can also open requirement specifications or requirements, paragraph, etc. right away from this stage and start working on them immediately. It gives you more flexibility. Let's take a quick look at the key takeaways from today's session. Teamcenter requirements management gives you a central hub to handle all your requirements from initial capture to final validation. You can easily create or import requirements, organize them with structure, and include rich content like documents, images, or equations. Features like traceability, reuse, and quality checks help ensure consistency and reduce rework. Access control is flexible, so only the right people can see or modify specific requirements, whether that's based on a group, project status, or a role. Everything is integrated with workflows and dashboards, giving full visibility into progress and ensuring accountability throughout development. And with the requirements manager workspace, user get a focused interactive view tailored just for requirement tasks, making day-to-day work faster and easier. In the next tech talk, I will cover part 2 of requirements management. We will look at trace links, how they connect requirements to BOM objects, and explore the trace link matrix for easy impact analysis. I will also explain how to work with workflows on requirements to streamline approvals and ensure proper validation. With that, I'm going to wrap up today's tech talk. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you for joining.